is Erica just hiding out this season to avoid anyone mentioning that her Vegas show only sold 7 tickets? Honestly, I'm shocked no one has thrown that little nugget in her face yet. It's like the elephant in the room, and yet, nothing. And then there's Marco. Oh, Marco. I'm so ready to see how that case plays out. Justice for them, for sure. If the Tom court didn't manage to shine a light on Erica's fake, sickening apology for what happened, I can only hope the universe makes it right for them. I've always wondered how Tom, a seasoned lawyer with such a long, supposedly ethical career, could let it all go down the drain, all the way down with Erica. With his mental decline, how do we know she didn't play that to her advantage, along with a few others? But back to the Vegas show. Wasn't it something like the tickets were only $7 on StubHub? I remember someone mocking her for not even being able to get a higher resale price on a ticket. That's rough. I even remember seeing a Page 6 headline about it, but of course, I didn't bother clicking. As for Erica's role next season, I'm betting she's going to be downgraded to friend of status. She's still in group scenes, but honestly, there's just nothing interesting going on in her life anymore. And seriously, I am so tired of her constantly playing the "I'm the only victim" card. Like, we get it, Erica. Sutton and Garcelle talked about the lawsuit, they talked about my drinking, they talked about alleged victims. Oh, boo-hoo. Are we all just supposed to pretend nothing was happening? Sheesh. And let's get this straight. They're lawsuits, Erica, not alleged lawsuits. She needs a reality check. I don't usually take pleasure in seeing someone's career flop, but with Erica, it's oddly satisfying. From the very beginning, her Erica Jane persona always felt so forced and, let's be real, totally funded. Her entire image was basically bought and paid for by her husband, who was also her PR and marketing department. I still don't get why anyone gave her so much media attention or praised her terrible, wannabe pop club music. It was never good. But hey, when you have unlimited cash to create the illusion of success, people will buy into it. Now, with the money gone, she's scraping the bottom of the barrel, struggling to even sell a handful of tickets. It's all becoming painfully clear. Her music career was just an illusion. Oh, PK is absolutely a man-child, a giant, grown-up baby who seems to think the world revolves around his tantrums. The "you bring out the worst in me" line? Please, classic narcissistic deflection. It's a textbook move. Manipulate the situation so that you're the victim while everyone else bears the blame. I can't believe anyone buys into that garbage. Ugh, the audacity. Dorit definitely has her flaws, but compared to PK, she's practically a saint. Honestly, I don't even care about her messy moments. PK the real disaster here. And don't even get me started on how he tried to pretend he didn't just get caught in a photo with some woman at the airport. Like, really, he couldn't even muster the decency to own up to it. Kyle, of all people, is apologizing on his behalf. What is this, kindergarten? Grown men like him are the reason we're still dealing with toxic behavior in 2025. We should expect better by now. These women deserve so much more. And his first wife. I wonder what she brought out in him before he just bailed on her for Dorit. The whole thing reeks of someone who's way too comfortable abandoning relationships when things get hard. And that's not even getting into his ridiculous attempt at sobriety, blame, but never any accountability. Sobriety is hard, but blaming everyone else for your issues doesn't get you anywhere. Therapy might be a good start, PK, if you're not too busy being a gross little slug. As for the whole scene with these women, it's so frustrating. They're strong, independent, and capable of so much, but when they're with their men, it's like they just shrink. Boz's daughter asks about marriage, and Boz looks at her boyfriend with that hopeful expression, like he's going to give her everything. Dorit's surprised PK even kissed her, and Kyle's still under Mal's spell. These women have earned so much, but it's hard to see them caught up in this mess. It's heartbreaking to watch them settle for so little. It's the exact opposite of empowerment, and it really stings. Anyone else noticed Dorit's accent has gone full American lately? Watching the latest episode, her accent seems a lot less British-ish and a lot more, well, normal. It's got this even tone with fewer dramatic pitch shifts. Even when she says PK name now, it's all very flat and straightforward. I mean, for a while there, it seemed like Dorit was trying way too hard to mimic PK London accent. She wanted to sound all royal and sophisticated, but in the ears of Brits, it just came off as high-pitched and a little ridiculous. Now that she's dialed it back, her tone is more relaxed and the over-the-top vowel emphasis is gone. Thank goodness, those forced, pretentious sounds were just annoying, and honestly, it never felt real. And if you've seen Dorit's dad in past episodes, you'd know he's Israeli with a pretty heavy accent and a clipped way of speaking English. It's not his first language after all. So it's clear where Dorit's accent style comes from. A mix of growing up with an Israeli dad speaking English and living in America. Honestly, I never thought she was faking the accent. I grew up around different accents myself, and there are times when I catch myself switching between them as an adult. It's just part of how we absorb our surroundings. I'm watching the rerun of BH, and let's just say Kathy knew exactly what she was doing when she casually walked over to Sutton and then took her sweet time strolling back to her seat. I mean, come on. The fashion show was filmed in August 2024, and for anyone who does remember, the next month she got Tiffany Haddish to strut down the Morse catwalk at NIFA like it was her own personal prank parade. By now, we all know Kathy thinks her antics are hilarious. She must have been riding high on the attention she got from Sutton's show and decided, why not repeat this little gem a few weeks later? Classic Kathy, right? Always stirring the pot. I'm convinced she's a master manipulator who plays people like puppets for fun. Now, the second Sutton interrupted Kathy's moment at the reunion with her whole medical emergency, it was pretty clear Kathy was not having it. You could practically hear the gears in her head turning, plotting some kind of revenge moment. And when she pulled this stunt last August, yeah, that was Kathy reclaiming her spotlight. Maybe it's all a wild conspiracy, but hey, I'm sold. So, Dorit and Boz, huh? Is this actually a storyline? I mean, I love their dynamic and the friendship they've got, but how did this even become the plot? I totally think Dorit's into Boz, like, a lot, but is she just leaning into that empathy of hers? Also, is her separation even real, or are they just out here making bank like some people are suggesting? I'm honestly so confused right now. What do you all think? After this latest episode, the robbery and the separation are looking faker by the minute. Seriously, what is even going on with PK? A manager? Because last I checked, it's not the 80s anymore, and Boy George isn't exactly touring 24/7. So yeah, seems like they're both definitely up to something shady. But let's be real, I don't think Dorit has any deep friendships with anyone, on or off the show. Just a gut feeling. Do we really think she's putting any serious thought into Boz and Healy? I honestly think Sutton and Garcelle became friends because they had to, but ended up being real friends in the end. Dorit, on the other hand, I feel like she just needed a friend, and maybe that's why Boz is fitting in so well with her. It's like he's starting to mirror her behavior. The key difference here, well, Dorit's friendship with Boz, that was clearly planned out. She didn't need someone to back her up like that. She needed to handle her own drama without having someone who barely knows the other women doing her bidding. Now, I do agree with people when they say Garcelle stands up for Sutton. They're friends, after all, and Garcelle gets what it's like to be on the receiving end of the group's wrath. But let's be real, Garcelle hasn't gone as hard for Sutton in the group in such a short time as Boz has for Dorit. I'm not saying it's all tit for tat, but the circumstances are a little different, right? I mean, I do think Dorit and Boz can actually be friends now. But if I'm honest, it feels like their friendship has just turned into this weird, shady thing where they gang up on others. I also get the feeling Dorit needed a season where she wasn't surrounded by a team of people, just to get a taste of the relationships she's actually built. But hey, that's just my take. So Kyle was a child actress, right? So I guess she must have raked in the big bucks from those gigs. But honestly, who knows? She once mentioned her mom had her and Kim working as kids to bring in some cash, which, surprise, surprise, might mean they weren't exactly living in luxury. Did Mo come from money? Good question. Kyle has dropped hints that her favorite time was living in a cramped 2-bedroom apartment while the bills were piling up. Yet, every now and then, they'll casually toss out that they went to Mexico when they were dating and show off their boat pics like it's no big deal. So clearly, someone was funding that lifestyle. My bet? Mo probably got them there with his real estate career, mostly thanks to working with the Hiltons. But Kyle? Yeah, I'm not so sure she got the money from acting. Back then, there were no laws requiring that money be set aside for the kid, so her mom probably took care of that in the worst way possible. Then there's Mo's story about losing his job at his dad's clothing business, crying all the way home, and then voila, Kyle comes to the rescue with the genius idea of spending their date nights studying for real estate licenses. Mo ends up working with Kyle's brother-in-law, Rick Hilton, at Hilton in Highland, and boom, they start living the high life. Flash forward to Puerto Rico, and Mo tells Kyle that he's got this amazing new opportunity to go out on his own, which, surprise, surprise, turns into the agency. Now, when it comes to Kyle and Kim's childhood memories, things get a little blurry. Kim seems to think she was the family's golden goose, supporting everyone with her acting career. But Kyle remembers it differently. She swears their dad, not Kathy's dad, was the one footing the bill. And then there's Kathy, who married a few times, so who knows what their financial situation was. One of her marriages supposedly ended with her taking everything, including a second round with the same guy. A classic move. Oh, and Mo's mom, Estella Snader, is a doctor, specializing in sexual therapy, so it's safe to assume she's doing just fine. Plus, Mo's dad is now a founding partner at the agency. So yeah, I'd say someone in that family was doing all right. Spotted. Kyle Richards on the latest CW series Wild Cards. She's gracing my newest nightly obsession as a housewife on the show Ladies of Linden Square, or whatever it's called. Her character is married, child-free, and supposedly on a sobriety journey 5 whole years sober from alcohol. How riveting. But the real question, did she accidentally murder a fellow housewife while filming their vacation episodes, using a 6-inch stiletto to the back? Just wondering. I bet she really had to dive deep into research and preparation for this incredibly challenging role that, let's be honest, is probably nothing like her actual life at all. Let's be real, everyone just wants to play it binary, huh? Why is it so hard to dislike Sutton or Garcelle, but you can't even look sideways at Erica or Dorit? Sure, Sutton's messy. We can all agree on that, but at least she shows up and does the work. Can't say the same for Dorit and Erica, though, can we? Let's talk about them for a second. I'm honestly loving the chaos Sutton and Dorit are bringing this season. They're both bringing it. But let's be real, every single one of them has had their share of problematic moments. It's part of the deal. I'm just here to call out the binary thinking that's rampant on this sub, and in the fandom in general. Here's what doesn't make sense. People act like this sub is constantly praising Dorit and Erica while tearing Sutton apart. Newsflash, I spend way too much time reading this sub. Yeah, I know, my bad. And it's very much a Sutton fan club here. Every other post is a pro-Sutton thread, and if you even hint at criticizing her or Garcelle, prepare to get downvoted and roasted until the end of time. I can post a whole thing that praises Sutton, but if I dare mention one flaw of hers, suddenly that's the only thing people focus on, and they're coming for me like I'm the devil. The best housewives are the ones who are complicated, who you don't love 100% of the time, and don't hate 100% of the time either. Otherwise, what's the point? If a housewife doesn't bring anything likable at all in their first season, they won't make it far. That's just reality. What cracks me up, though, is when people ride or die for a housewife and tear down anyone who dares question them. Then when that housewife does something totally messed up, suddenly it's crickets. Where's the accountability? We're supposed to have evolving opinions on these women. That's what makes it fun to discuss. But instead, it's like everyone's stuck in a forever loyalty club where criticism is the enemy. Get real.